Hello and welcome to this game sent in by Andy, who is here playing the French Tier 9 cruiser the St. Louis. Andy is playing on the Chateau map, and looking at the team compositions, we see 5 battleships, 4 cruisers and 3 destroyers. The enemy has a division with 2 Conquerors and also a Kirikase, so the side with them will see a lot of HE. You also see that on Andy's team there is a super tester who's playing the Alaska. And he is the only one on this team with a radar. And for the enemy, they have a Seattle radar and nothing else. Andy is starting the game by going wide east, while a Yugomo is going towards sea. There's also Minotaur following him, and behind Andy there are 2 battleships, a Tirpitz and a Massachusetts. The rest of his team is going A, and there are 2 destroyers there, both the Shimakase and the Gearing. Just before the Yugomo enters sea, the enemy starts to cap it, so we know from the start that there is at least 1 destroyer in there. In the east, Andy's team is starting to cap A, but so far no ships have started to contest B. An enemy Grossoy is spotted at A, but he will turn away since he can't really deal with ships that are probably right now shooting at him. And he discovers Alabama and one of the Conquerors, so it's a fair assumption that the second Conqueror is here as well. In the west, Andy's team loses a destroyer, but the second one is in A, still trying to cap it. And is continuing to be quite aggressive. Of course, he knows where all the destroyers are, which makes it a bit easier to push a bit. Kirikase gets a torpedo hit in the Yugomo when he went wide. And Andy starts opening up on the Alabama.
Torpedoes astern.
And here we also see that both Conquerors are on this side, which is probably pretty good for Andy. If you play 2 Conquerors in division, most likely you're after damage, and then you want to set battleships on fire, meaning they probably won't have Andy as their main target. And they try to utilize the main battery reload boost, but unfortunately did not get a new fire on the Alabama until here. Andy is switching to different battleships every time you get a fire to try and let the single fire burn out to maximize his own damage and to make sure that they don't repair a single fire, which is usually the case, since you don't want to waste your damage con on just one fire. And this team has now lost both destroyers in A, and the enemy has capped it. In return, his team has just managed to cap C, and have now killed one more ship than the enemy has. And here we see that both Conquerors are focusing on the battleships. They are angled to minimize damage from them, giving Andy pretty big targets to shoot at. Andy is trying to duke all the battleships by constantly switching, going forward and reversing, to make it more difficult for the enemy to know what direction he's going in the next salvo they have. And we see that the damage the Conquerors are getting on Andy is quite low. And apart from some salvos, they aren't really focused on him. And he has a pretty comfortable position. Getting quite good RNG with fires. And we see that he is utilizing the speed boost quite well here as well to further improve the speed at which he can change direction, making it even more difficult for the enemy battleships to shoot at him. Even though the Conquerors are not really getting any large hits on him, they do set him on fire from time to time. And when his damage con is not ready, he will burn for a bit. However, there is the friendly Massachusetts that is pushing south quite heavily. And the battleships Andy have been shooting at all game will have to focus on him before switching back to a cruiser. And his team has also managed to cap B, but A is still in the hands of the enemy. The Turpis is also slowly pushing south. He is further behind, but he has been moving slightly forward. Although he is taking his time to go and help. We see once again that Andy is utilizing the reload booster quite well, setting permanent fires, and he has already received the Wheelbearer award. set on fire again, but the gun damage was fairly low, and he can go back to shooting at the Conqueror behind island. The second Conqueror is already dead, and Alabama is running away.
Engine boost deactivated.
And he continues to fire at Conqueror whenever he's visible. And since Battleship is behind the island and Alabama is out of his range, there is no risk of return fire.
Our team has taken the lead.
The Republic repairs the double fire and just got on him. So any hits now will be a permanent fire, but it's also very low, so and activates the reload boost, but with the help from turrets, the Conqueror goes down and he gets his first kill.
Problem solved, sir.
He's still detected though, so the Alabama is somewhere within his gun range, but so far he's not been shooting, so we don't know exactly where. And his team has managed to kill most of the enemies at A and is now capping it, meaning they will have all 3 caps. Alabama is spotted again, and he can start firing and getting more damage. The Turpis is still being pretty careful, preferring to let Andy deal with the battleship. And here we also see the difference between the HE and AP. The hits on Alabama took quite some HP from Andy, and even though Andy has done this very well, I still think he was a bit lucky with the double Conqueror division. That they were on his side and that they were battleships they would rather focused on. Because they were more interested in the damage than actually getting kills. Allowing Andy to slowly but steadily set them on fires. He has 14 so far, and farming a lot of damage. He has also utilized his speed boost and going backwards and forwards very well. So it looks like it's been a fairly comfortable game for him, as he just broke 200k damage. He does manage to get the second kill and also the Arsonist award, which has been quite some time coming, seeing as he has managed to get 15 fires already. And the game will very end soon, and Andy will finish this game with 204k damage, 2 kills, 15 fires, only 1.15 million potential, which shows that battleships have been more interested in farming damage on battleships than trying to kill Andy, which definitely was a mistake seeing the results of this game. But all in all, a very well executed game from Andy. He utilizes the strength of the ship very well and managed to get a good win from a good game. So well done, Andy.